And I usually find the reason behind why I can't move forward or I'm feeling a certain way is because there's an emotion that needs to be released. And usually a memory will pop up or there's an emotion to be released. And then I'll just tap on that. I'll tap on that memory or tap on that emotion. And I usually find that it just like moves through the body and it's gone. You feel a lot calmer, a lot more stable afterwards.
Welcome to Wholeness podcast. This is where you'll get to hear incredible stories of female entrepreneurs, business owners, women from all walks of life. Myself, Raymond Jan, and my co-host Abigail will be interviewing incredible women, hearing inspiring stories of women from all around the world. I have no doubt that you will find something that will be life-changing for you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and join us for our future episodes.
So hi everyone and welcome to another episode of the Women Thrive podcast. My name is Abigail Rebecca and today we're going to be talking about adapting to situations. We all know that we live in the real world and this life can be topsy-turvy and there can be highs and lows and different challenges that we can face. But one of the things that I believe makes you a really amazing entrepreneur is when you can problem solve. When you can look at turning things around and adapting to things, because life would be boring, right? If everything was flowing to us constantly and there weren't any challenges. Well, that's my opinion anyway. I'm sure you have a different opinion about that, but that's what we're going to be talking about today. So we have a wonderful guest on our podcast today. Her name is Nikki Hillhouse. She is one of the Women Thrive speakers for the 2025 summit, which as we're recording this is only a few months away. And we're really excited to have her on our stage. So Nikki is an experienced meditation teacher. She's a mind detox practitioner. She's a therapeutic coach and retreat facilitator with an extensive background in holistic health. Nikki's mission is to help and empower others to overcome their most challenging obstacles and start living happier, healthier, and more fulfilling lives. Nikki, welcome. It's so wonderful to have you here on the podcast today.
Hi, Abby. So good to be here. Lovely to see you.
So, Nikki, I'd really love to hear a little bit about your journey because, I said on the outset there that we're talking about adapting to things that are sent to us. And in your bio there, you're talking about life's challenges. I'd really love to know, first of all, what led you to down this road? What led you to what you're doing now, hosting retreats, the beautiful work that you do? Would you be able to give us a little bit about your background?
Absolutely. Happy to. Yeah. And where I am now really transpired through some life traumas that I've had. And a major one was at the age of 31. I had a bit of neck pain and it wasn't sort of going away. And a friend of mine suggested, why don't you come along and see my osteopath and have a session? And I'd never been to an osteopath before. And, when you're in pain, you'll be like, yes, I'll try anything. So off I went and had this appointment with this osteopath. And I knew something wasn't quite right when she was doing one of them. She was pushing down very hard on the top of my head. It was something to do with she needed to release whatever was going on in the neck, where the neck pain was. And I knew something wasn't quite right because it was a lot of pain, but then part of me is going, she's the expert, just let her do her thing, no pain, no gain sort of thing. And then unfortunately the following day I ran a bath and I had a stroke. I had a deep brain stroke in the bath about 18 hours after that manipulation. So that was the beginning of a roller coaster, shall we say, complete topsy-turvy of my life, completely turned upside down. So it progressed in the way of me going backwards and forwards to the doctor because I was in a lot of pain. The only way I can describe it is if you can just draw a line down the centre of my body. Couldn't feel anything on the left side. And it was a constant burning nerve pain. And I was told that was the thalamic post-central nerve pain and it's something that wouldn't go away. And I had to learn to live with it. So I took many, many medications for many, many years. I sort of felt a bit like a guinea pig because every time I went in there and, the pain was getting worse. So the morphine, then I'd upped another drug, another one. And I kept saying, are you sure this is safe? And it'd be like, oh yeah, it's absolutely fine. We're here to manage your pain. And something deep down was telling me this can't be right. And I started to feel progressively worse. The pain relief wasn't helping me. And I just lost a sense of direction. I just felt my confidence had gone. I did not recognize who I was anymore. I used to spend weekends in bed. I didn't go out with my friends. I wouldn't go anywhere. After work, I used to just hide away at the weekend, and I'd be in so much pain that I'd recover from work, and then I'd get back to work again on the Monday. And I was just sitting in bed one morning, and my routine was my cup of coffee, a lot of pills to take, like a heat cushion thing that I had for my neck. I was doing a little bit of meditation and breath work, and almost in that moment, I heard a voice. I wasn't hearing voices, but there was just this word power that was coming through. Something was coming through with the word power. I didn't understand what that was all about. So I sat with it for a while, and then it just sort of like a light bulb went off. It was, that's what you've got to do. You've got to take your power back. You have got to become, I always say this to people, the CEO of my own health. You've got to go on your own health and wellness journey. Literally divorce the doctors, get rid of all them, and find a way to heal. You deserve to live, because I'd got to such a state that, many a times I'd thought, this is it, I've had enough. I just want to check out of this world, because the pain was just too much. And after 15 years of constant pain, it was like, oh, right, okay, I deserve to have a quality life. And my son was 14 at the time, and I thought, I can't give up. I can't give up on him. So that's what I did. I went on my own health and wellness journey, and where I am now, I am now hosting wellness retreats in Turkey, educating others on health and well-being, and just love what I do, and coaching other people in mind-body techniques and mind detox. And yes, that's a little bit of a summary of where I am today from then.
Wow, Nikki, what a story. I remember when we first connected and you shared with me your story, and it's just so moving, so powerful. I love the fact that you took back your power, and also the fact that you had a stroke in the bath. I can't even imagine how scary that must have been for you.
It was, because my medical training and things, when it actually happened, and I don't want to be too graphic here, because it wasn't very nice. And my whole body went limp on my right side, and my breathing shallowed, and I couldn't even get the words out. Couldn't get my hand up because it was all drooped. And I thought, I've had a stroke. I've had some sort of brain aneurysm. And I think for me, it was the fact I was so cold sitting in the water. And then my son his dad was in serving in the armed forces. So he was away in Bosnia at the time. And he was out rollerblading with his friends, as you do at 14. So there's me lying in this bath going, how the hell am I going to get out of here? Even then, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to even get out of here. And what is probably only maybe, I don't know if it was 30 minutes, an hour I was in there. It felt like a lifetime. But in a strange way, I was very calm about it. It was almost like, when I talk about sort of an awakening, it was everything just sort of went still and very quiet. The pain had gone. So that was like, this is because the pain was so intense when the stroke happened. So just sitting there so still, and I was cold, but I knew there'd be a way out of it. I just knew that I would be absolutely fine. So yeah, it wasn't pleasant, but I'm here to tell the tale.
You were talking there about being on medication and not any kind of medical help and drugs and things like that. We know that it has its place, and very grateful for all of that, but it wasn't working for you. And then you found this other way to heal yourself. And what I love about your work, Nikki, is that you are like a living, breathing example of holistic healing, right? Like you've lived it, and I love that you demonstrate it in that way. What was it that really helped you to give you access to be able to adapt to that current situation and to be able to come through the other end and heal yourself? Because you're in a really bad way, right, in terms of like physical health as a result of the stroke. What was it that enabled you to do that? Could you talk us through that a little bit?
Yeah, I think it was when I made that decision. Once I'd made that decision, and I was like, right, this is it. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I've made the decision. and I deserved to have a quality of life. Once I made that decision and I started to implement things, I went down the route of juicing. I've just done some EFT before we got on the call. My EFT meditation was a massive catalyst for me, because once I could see that this physical aspect of myself, okay, there's bits that weren't working, but the real who I am, I'm whole and complete. And when I started to realize that, things got so much easier for me. The pain was still there, but I was more confident. I started to see that it was almost like a clarity came through. And every time I tried a different modality and things got easier and easier, and my body started to heal from, I suppose I was healing, actually, I wasn't healing from the stroke. I was healing from all the medication, the poison that was in me. 15 years of 12, 13 different drugs. That was giving me so many other medical implications, and which is not good. Like you say, Abby, it's Western medicine. I'm not knocking it at all. There's a time and a place for it. But there's another way that you can adapt your body. That's why I'm all about adapting. Adapt and heal. My goodness, the nutrients you get from juicing, from turmeric, from going inwards, doing the inner work, meditating, a bit of EFT, energy work, okay? That is all got a profound, profound healing effect on the body, not pharmaceutical drugs. So for me, it was going down that route of just trying lots of, I think the first thing I did was, I went and I got a juice machine. I bought a juice machine and I was just juicing like crazy. I went on an alkaline diet and started to feel, I'm actually feeling a little bit better. And I think because I was weaning off the medication, my confidence started to come back, and I started to I thought, I quite like myself again. Do you know what? I'm quite a nice person. And that's where it all grew from. It was the confidence that managed to, the more I was moving forward, it was difficult, don't get me wrong. And I was like, I think I can do this. And because I'd made that decision, it was like, right, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? I'm always on about hurdles. We come up against these hurdles. And I thought, no, I'm not turning away from these hurdles. I will step over the next one and the next one. Because life's going to throw us hurdles, aren't they? And it's just down to us how we respond. I wouldn't be sitting here with you now, Abby, if I hadn't made that decision 9-10 years ago to stop that medication. You wouldn't even have recognised the person that I was. I didn't recognise myself then to who I am now. So I'm just so pleased that I had that download. That was to say, take the power back. And that's probably why I'm so about helping others to see that, not saying don't listen to everything you hear, but go down your own little investigation. Be a little bit of a Miss Marple, I like to say, and find another way. There's other ways. It's not one size fits all, because we're all unique, but just find a way that you can, you deserve to have that health and that holistic harmony back in your body.
Yes. You and I are on the same page, 100%. I always say question everything. Question everything. And I love the fact that you said the first thing that I did was buy myself a juice machine. Right? And tackle it from that way. So it feels to me like it was a combination of mindset, like you say, empowering yourself, but also the beautiful modalities that you've brought in. And you and I share a love for EFT and both practice it. And that's a wonderful tool, isn't it? To be able to overcome so many challenges and view things in a different way, right? For those of you who have never heard of EFT, it stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. It is also known as tapping, and you're tapping on the different meridian points within the body. And I always say it's like acupuncture for the brain. How has EFT specifically helped you, Nikki? Because I'm really interested in this.
For me, when you start tapping, sometimes I follow an app, or sometimes I just do it for myself, even though the routine, you go around it all. And it's what emotions come up for me. If there's something happening in my life, so say I don't feel right, I'm on edge about something, or there's something I've got to do and I'm not too sure about, I've got a decision to make, I'll just start tapping. And I usually find the reason behind why I can't move forward or I'm feeling a certain way is because there's an emotion that needs to be released. And usually a memory will pop up, or there's an emotion to be released. And then I'll just tap on that. I'll tap on that memory or tap on that emotion. And I usually find that it just like moves through the body and it's gone. Yeah, it's you feel a lot calmer, a lot more stable afterwards.
Do you do it every day, Nikki?
Every day, yeah.
Yeah,
Tapping every
me
day.
too.
Meditation, tapping,
Yeah.
TRE, bit of everything really.
Yeah. So when you were talking about the power, the word power came to you and you took your power back using your words. I went to see Wicked yesterday. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it. No.
Okay. So I went to see the film. I was away when it was released. Otherwise, I'd have been there from day one because it's one of my favorite musicals. And I saw it on Broadway about 11 years ago and it completely blew my mind. And I went to see it yesterday. And one of the scene at the end is when Elphaba takes back her power, and it's when she kind of transforms into like the Wicked Witch and what we kind of perceive her as the Wicked Witch. And I was just bawling my eyes out all the way through. And when you were talking about taking my power back, empowering, she was worried about the opinions of others. She wasn't loved. She was being made fun of all the time for being green. She was very apologetic. And this was her just going, rah, like, this is who I am and this is what I stand for and this is how I want to live my life. And I felt like that energy of you when you were talking about it, this decision to take your power back and this empowerment. Is that when you moved to Turkey? Because I'm really interested about this as well, because you ran your retreats in Turkey. Is that when you decided to move countries and change your whole environment, Nikki?
We moved to Turkey permanently just over 2 years ago, but we'd been here, placed here for, 18 years now, but we built our own place 8 years ago. And the plan always was, if I go way back to when I went to Just Detox Retreat 9 years ago, and that's when I made the decision. I went there because I was just weaning off morphine, one of the first drugs I started to wean off. And I went on this like full-on juice retreat. My God, it was difficult. But I learned so much from that. And the guy that was the mentor, the meditation teacher, became my mentor. And I was watching him at the little workshop groups we had, little circles. And I remember sitting there going, I don't know where it came from because I was certainly nowhere confident. I was like, I'm going to do this. If he can do this, then I'm going to do it. Why not? And as soon as I planted that, like I call it a healthy belief seed, I didn't know how or when. We had literally just bought the land here, maybe a few months afterwards. So around about the same time we'd bought the land. And I thought, that's what I'm going to do. We're going to build a house. And then one day we're going to live out there and I'm going to host my own wellness retreats. That's what I'm going to do. And you never quite know when the date's going to be. But because of COVID and all the stuff that was happening, and I couldn't see my partner, he was here and he was working in Germany, and then he flew back here and I was in the UK in Oxfordshire. And then I just made a decision. I looked when I could get back to see him after COVID. I went, right, that's it. Let's move here, stay here permanently. He goes, are you sure? I went, yeah, I'm going to do what I said I was going to do. I'm going to start hosting my own wellness retreats. That's what I'm going to do. And he's like, oh, right, okay then. So it was from there. So that's where it all sort of stemmed from. Yeah, I think it's that belief in yourself, Abby. You're saying about taking your power back. It's like, yes, I'm going to do that. Because if you'd saw me, like I say, 9-10 years ago, I was not very well at all. And the thought of even having a coaching business and hosting retreats was, what are you talking about? But I thought, no, why shouldn't I be able to do this? And I think my why behind it all, my passion was, I don't want to see anyone else go through this. I don't want to see anyone else go down the route of the medical system, how I was treated and everything else. So yeah, so that's how I ended up in Turkey.
I love that. I love that you had this vision for yourself and you pictured yourself there and now there you are running retreats. And
I've still got more visions. I've got more visions, and then I've planned it for the next 10 years. I will have my own wellness centre, retreat centre. And I say I will because I'm putting it out there. I hope to, I will. Yeah. Like I said, the how will take care of itself, how, where and when, but why not? Why not? Aim big.
I love that. I really, really love that you've created that for yourself. And absolutely, I see you having a wellness centre out there. It's so amazing. I just wanted to talk about forgiveness because I would have thought there would have been a journey around forgiveness and what happened to you Would you care to elaborate on that a little bit and share a little bit of wisdom around forgiveness?
Absolutely. Forgiveness is the first step to healing yourself. Because for many years, I was actually quite bitter towards the osteopath, that could she do this to me? And then I started to realize I don't think she intentionally went out that morning and said, I've got this appointment with this girl who's 31. I'll just manipulate her neck and cause her to have a stroke. So I went, a lot of forgiveness. And forgiveness is not about, it's never forgiving the other person. And it's not, what I'm trying to say to everyone here is if something bad's happened to you, someone's done something really bad, it's not about saying, I forgive them and let them away with it. You forgive yourself for the part that you play in it. We have to forgive ourselves for every situation we've been in. We have had a part to play in that. I chose to go to that appointment that day. And a lot of people, especially clients I work with, say, well, I wasn't in that situation. I didn't have a choice. This happened to me. I said, but you ultimately still played a part in it, how tough it was. So you need to learn to forgive yourself, and you start to forgive your younger self, the younger parts of yourself, because they're the ones that need forgiven. So it's, forgiveness is, I don't think you can move forward unless you forgive, because you're holding all that in your nervous system. And how do you expect to heal yourself if you're hung with bitterness and anger and resentment? No. You want your cells to be flooding with nourishment and harmony. And so you want to bring in the love, the peace, the joy, the contentment, not the bitterness, the hatred. So you've got to definitely release that. Yeah, release that forgiveness.
It's a difficult concept to get your head around, isn't it? Like, especially when you say taking responsibility for the part that you play in it and taking your power back, right? Because I think that's probably one of the most difficult things, like how, it wasn't my fault. Say it straight away, you're putting the blame onto someone else and saying it wasn't my fault. I had nothing to do with it. But then you're putting yourself in a place where you're really disempowered. And if you don't take responsibility for the part that you played in it, how on earth can you move forward? And there's that tendency to play the victim. I love your story because you do speak about it from a really empowered place. And it's like you say, if you'd have stayed on the drugs and stayed where you were and not forgiven and not moving forward and not taking responsibility for your own health and wellness, it would have been very easy for you to have just, played the victim all your life. And how many people, do you meet? Like, I meet so many people in life who are, yes, okay, horrendous things have happened to them. Life really has thrown those curveballs, and there's no disputing that, but they are fully in victim mode. So what it's doing is disempowering them, their situation, and they are then causing that situation for themselves instead of deciding to break free from it. It's like it's serving them in some way because it's an excuse not to do things, and you can always use the excuse, right? Well, I can't do this because I've got this wrong with me or this has happened to me. I'd love your take on that, Nikki.
What you just said there, Abby, about being disempowering. Do you want to empower yourself to move forward? Because are you going to let someone else disempower you? Because that's what the energy you're putting out there if something's happened to you. So you need to then go, okay, that's happened. I mean, I've been in an abusive marriage, my first marriage. So I went down the route of forgiveness. Not for his sake, it was empowering myself to know that nobody will treat me like that again. Nobody speaks to me like that. The same with the medical system. So everything that I've been through 15, 20 years in the medical system, and a lot of the time I wasn't treated very well. So I forgave them for that. And like I said, you forgive yourself for your part you play in it. But the disempowering part is if you start to play that victim every day, why did this happen to me? Why did this happen to me? God, flip it around. Why is this happening for me? Why is it happening for me? Then that's empowering you. And that gives you these actions and your mindset starts to change, and then you start to take action, and then you get more empowered and you move forward, because why are you going to let anyone else disempower you? No. Because that's when the victim part comes in, like, well, this happened and this happened. And I often say this, I've said this to my clients, which goggles are you putting on today? Which lens are you putting on today? And they go, what do you mean? Did you get out of bed this morning with those, the goggles of the lens of why me, the victim mentality, or with that view of why is everything always happening for me? Or put on the survivor glasses, put on the lens of the survivor. When you do that, you can see every single part of that timeline to where you are today and how you got there. It's more empowering to put on those survivor glasses than it is for the victim glasses, because that's very disempowering. I hope that made sense.
Oh, no, it really does, Nikki. And I'm just writing down notes about the goggles, your victim or your survival goggles. And I would say for anyone that is listening to this today, you might feel triggered by this conversation, actually. And if you are, then good. I'd love to invite you to really explore. If you really do want to change and you want to change your life around and you're serious about that, then use this as an opportunity to look at why you're so triggered by this, because there's some truth bombs being dropped here. And it's really, really difficult to look at ourselves in the mirror and do this work. Nikki, I just think this is the most difficult work that we do. Right? To really own our own shit and go, I'm responsible for this. I'm responsible for my life. And what, like you said, what goggles, what glasses am I going to be putting on today? Am I going to continue to be the victim, or am I going to empower myself and be a survivor? And if that's the case, what do I need to do to move forward? And one of the first things is to take responsibility for your own shit. Take responsibility for it. Stop blaming other people. And then you can take your power back, right?
Absolutely. I always say this to people, especially to clients. I said, I'm not here to fix you. I'm not here to wave a magic wand and everything's going to be okay. You have got to put the work in. You need to take action and empower yourself along the way. I'm just there facilitating a space for you and guiding you along the way, because as much as life is not a fairy tale, as much as we'd all love that charger on the white horse to come and rescue us and take us away and take us to this beautiful land and we'll all be safe and secure and everything's all wonderful. Life doesn't work like that. I'm sorry, but it doesn't. And like you just said there, you've got to sort of own it. You've got to own, you just said, own your shit. You have to own it. Do you want to keep lying in bed with the covers over your head every day going, oh, or do you want to get up and make an impact to the world? Do you want to show everybody who you are? You have a choice. Every single person in every given moment has a choice how they respond to every situation that happens to them. So back to the victim goggles again. So you can go down that route. Everybody does. Days are difficult and you go, oh, you feel a little bit sorry for yourself. But I'm very quick when I have days like that. I'll snap myself out of it. I'll honour it. I'll honour how I'm feeling and I'll nurture how I'm feeling. And I'll take that time for myself, because it's important that you do. Because then you can ignore that part. So it's good to honour that part. If you're feeling, why did this happen to me, or I'm having a bad day, take yourself away and do the work. It is not easy doing that inner work, but my God, is it worth it?
And this is one of the things that I most admire about you, Nikki, because I know that life has thrown you so many curveballs. You've mentioned some of them there. And it's your attitude. It's the way that you address it. It's the way that you deal with it. You're so inspirational. Do you know how inspirational you are? You really are. It's the way that you position things and the way that you look at things. You're such a shining example for your clients.
Thank you, Abby. That's really kind of you to say that. But I see life a little bit like this. We're only here on this earth plane for a very short period of time in this physical form. Do you want to make it interesting? Do you want to make it interesting? And I always remember Wayne Dyer, and he was talking about the 10, I can't remember what it was now, but one of them was people, on the deathbed and all the regrets of the dying. And it's like, do you want to die with your music still within you? And so many people get to a certain age and go, oh, do you know, I always wanted to dance or play the piano or write a book or do all these things. Like, well, why didn't you? Because they didn't think they were capable enough, or they didn't think they were worthy enough. That all comes from deep-seated beliefs that we've picked up along the way growing up. and it's rubbish. And it's believing in yourself. And back to the power bit, take your power back and do what you want to do. And just be, like Ramonda would say, unapologetic. Be yourself. If people don't like you, then that's tough. As long as you love yourself and like yourself, then you're going to be okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about your retreats, Nikki. I'd love to hear about what you've created, because you talked about you had this vision of you living in Turkey and running retreat. Tell us a little about your retreats and what to expect from them. I'd love to know.
It's what lights me up. It's what I really look forward to. And I just love to see these women when they come through the doors to speak. And they're quite, let's just say they need a break. How do you word it? They need a break. And you watch them change over a few days from being quiet and shy to really like lighten up. You see this energy coming from them. They start to feel really empowered and they move forward and they're leaving with this like, yes, I'm ready to take on the world. I can do this. And it's such a pleasure to be able to hold space for that. And next year, my next retreat is actually nearly sold out. That's in October. And it's called Renewed Horizon. And it's actually around grief. And I don't mean grief in the way of you may have lost someone, but grief in yourself, lost your sense of self. It could be a relationship. It could be you've lost a business, whatever it is, but you've lost a sense of who you are. So it's all centered around grief. So it's all lovely little, I include Reiki's in it, yoga. We've got a beautiful boat trip. I teach people little tools and techniques that helps them come back to self-worth and who they are. And I teach meditation and a lovely little combination. And it's just, it just lights me up to see people that are sitting there thinking that they're maybe no value to the world or they don't have a purpose. What's their purpose? And then they leave on day 6 or day 7 and they're ready to go, and it's like, and they've got so many ambitions and dreams to move forward.
Well, congratulations on everything that you've achieved, Nikki. And I, for one, am really excited to follow your journey and what's going to come next. And of course, we're so excited that you're going to be speaking on the Women Thrive Summit next year. As we record this, it's going to be next year in 2025. What do we expect from you? What's your talk going to be about, Nikki?
My talk's going to be about, it's surrounding an unloved body. Especially as women, we have these societal norms about how we should look. And it's going to be around that and about loving yourself no matter what you look like through every stage of life and coming back to your authentic self. So, giving away too many spoilers.
I love that. Well, I mean, enrollment is now open for the summit. It's free to join. We're going to put the links down in the comments below so that you can come and watch Nikki's talk. And we're really excited that you're going to be sharing that. And I think such an interesting subject, right? Because how many times have we said, or we've heard others say, I don't want to have that photo shoot because I don't like the way that I look, or I don't want to wear that dress because I don't like the way that I look. It really stops us from showing up in our true power. And that's something that I think will be a great talk for our audience. So thank you, Nikki, for sharing that.
Thank you.
So Nikki, where do we find you? If we want to connect with you and follow you, where are the places that you hang out online?
All social media platforms, just under my name, Nikki Hillhouse, and my website, nikkihillhouse.com.
Wonderful. We're going to put the links below so that our audience can follow you. And please reach out and connect with Nikki. Go and check out her events, her retreats, her website, and be sure to come and watch her speaking on the stage next year. Nikki, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure, as always. I wish it was longer, but we're holding a little bit back so that we can have the full throttle during your summit talk. Thank you so much for coming on and being a fabulous guest today.
Oh, thank you, Abby. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you so much for watching, for listening. Hope you've enjoyed our conversation today. If it sparks something inside of you, then good. Please reach out and share with us. Contact Nikki. Share your aha moments. Anything that this has created for you. and how you want to move forward in your life. And again, I just want you to ask yourself today, are you looking, as Nikki said, are you putting on the different lenses, within your glasses and your goggles? So you're putting on your victim goggles, or are you putting on your survivor goggles? Well, we hope that you're putting on your survivor goggles after our amazing podcast today. Thank you so much. Be sure to tune in to our next episode. We will see you very soon.
Thank you for tuning in to Women Thrive podcast. If you found today's episode empowering and inspiring, be sure to subscribe and follow us. Better yet, leave a review and share it with others. We're committed to bringing you more stories that will empower and inspire you on your own journey. Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and keep pursuing your dreams.